Welcome back, everybody. Here we are for another chess game, and just the opposite of the last video we just uploaded. Same opponent and just opposite colors this time. So, oops. Whoa, why is... There we go. That's what I was looking for. So the game starts us off in the fried liver position right here. This is where the game starts you off as white, giving you the choice of whether to take with the horse or the bishop. And some of the other games I believe I took with the horse stereotypically. This one, I just matched exactly what he did in reverse on me last time. Took the bishop. He decided to go to the e-file, so I'm like, alright, fine. You know, that's why I went to the e-file, or one of the reasons I went to the e-file in the last game. He ran all the way back in the last game, so I run all the way back in this game. Part of it was, when I was doing my research of fried liver, I didn't know this line as well, using the bishop or when people move up to the e-file. So part of it was, I was letting him, since we're playing both of these games at the same time, I was letting him make the move first. And then so these first handful of moves is what, move 6, move 7. I'm just copying what he was doing against me in the other game to figure, okay, if he's doing it, there must be a reason. It can't be that bad. It's not going to cause him to lose. So these must be safe. So I retreat all the way, just like I did. You know, he pushes up, solidifies the center, opens up for the bishop. I bring out the horse. This is where we come into a little bit of a difference, though. When I was playing, I threw my horse out here to attack the bishop. What he does is he retreats the king to the square where you could have ran away at the start of the game. So that's a big difference and a big... It's not good. So I capitalize by doing fried liver 2.0. Like, again, this is the second time. You know, first it was the bishop and now I'm using the horse. Like, this never goes away. It was still there. And in fact, if we flip the board and we go to the last game, we're in this exact same position when I move my horse up. You know, this fried liver attack, it's still here. You know, it's not gone. So even if I move my horse up, he could very well still go for it. The difference being is that in his king, he moved his king down to this square instead. But in this case, I can move my queen over and help defend it. And so yeah, he goes ahead and he takes that piece. But over the course of this time, where was it? I think if you just take here, oh yeah, take here, and then if they fall for the bait, then they're running into a very long checkmate all the way through. So it looks very tempting, but it does potentially lead to a checkmate. Which is why it's often not really gone for. This is a little bit ugly, and this just leads to all sorts of issues here. I could just run this bishop away now after getting a little bit more material for it. This horse is still going to be mine. His position is all kinds of messed up. So that's probably why people don't really go for it as much, or at least he didn't. But by him moving this king over here, he obviously then can't put his queen there, so he doesn't have any of the offensive play to counteract the situation. So I decided to, hey, if you're going to make a bad move and retreat twice, I will capitalize by fried livering you again. We only have one liver, right? We have 2 kidneys, but only 1 liver, so it's refried liver at this point. Moves his queen away, I take the rook, and that's fine. I probably am never going to get a chance to use this knight again, but I wasted some of his time, and I still went up in material. So if it's just gone and I never save it, that's fine. He's going to take at least a couple of turns to capture it. You know, it's already at this point considered out of my mind and dead. And so he has to waste a little bit of time to make it official, or eventually I can use it again. And then it's sort of like getting material back. It's like healing in video games. So he pushes down to get a little bit of offense going. He's going to start angling some of his pieces out here. I guess actually he already has a lot of his pieces angled out here. So it's already a little threatening and a little scary, but because he pushed his king back and put it into a nice exposed vulnerable position, I'm going to defend these pieces with check and really kind of screw up his day. And keep in mind, my bishop is guarding this square, so he can't even directly get to the knight yet. Excuse me. So he opts, instead of retreating the king and moving it 3 times in 10 moves, he decides to offer up a queen trade, which, hey, I won an exchange already. I'm already up. I've got the safety. I've got the material. I will accept this trade and give him a couple different opportunities. He could have taken it with the horse, but I guess he didn't want to lose an offensive position that he thinks he has. So he takes it with the pawn, which does also free up a square so he can bounce around and take it. But again, if he does take it, I still already went up the material, and then that would put him at, 5 king moves in 13 turns, if that was the case. If he did just go bounce bounce to take it, okay, that's fine. So he recaptures with the pawn. I take this turn to castle, so now I've got defense, and he's just in a little bit of a world of hurt. It's an uphill battle for sure. He's going after these pawns, or these pieces. I'm not terribly concerned as they're defending each other, so if I can just trade away at this point, I'll be okay. So I decided to play a little bit sharp, kick this knight out of here, give myself a flight square just in case. He's really running it away now, and I'm thinking, ooh, that's a potential free horse. So I think I'm going to ignore this stuff over here and give myself an opportunity for a very boring looking move. Help solidify my defense in the center, that's fine, but gives me a chance to get a free horse. Unfortunately for me, he does see it. He can't move there because then I'll just take a trade, and he doesn't want that. I already took a piece, remember, so if this knight ever does anything, it's just extra bonus. So he does in fact see it and retreats, but at the same time, think about it. He had to move the horse up once, and then he moved it twice, and now he moved it 3 times, and now he's moved it 4 times in 14 turns, and it's right back where he started. It's not even in a good square. So it's definitely, he's just being smothered at that point. Very, very big loss of time and tempo and position all at the same time. So I don't even remember what I was thinking at this point, but just if I can start attacking some of his pieces. His bishop is dead in the water. I guess he could put it down here, but then I'm able to push up a pawn and fork 2 pieces. So I'm really just trying to attack, force some trades, simplify the board up, and then I'll just cruise to victory at that point. But he decides to play some big offense as well, pushes down in. There's no other pieces. He has nothing that it's teamed up with, nothing that's defending it, but I have nothing attacking it. So it's a little bit of an empty attack, but it'll be annoying for sure. So I move the king away into the flight square that I just made, gets him into a nice little position, and I would prefer if he doesn't take this bishop, because I would like to be able to move up here and then have all sorts of diagonals up in his face, but as long as that horse is still in its starting position, I'm not going to be able to. And I know if I make a play to go after his horse, once I move the rook, then he's going to take it, forcing me to lose a turn of tempo. So I'm trying to hold off on that. Excuse me, sorry, allergies. So I'm trying to hold off on directly attacking the horse and making it obvious, because I'm just going to lose the tempo for it, and I don't really want that to happen. So I'm just hoping it'll move away somewhere. He does move his bishop down now, because it was going to die in either one of the 2 squares it's at, and this push is no longer as threatening. I'm still going to do it anyway, just to kick it out, force it to retreat. I don't really care. It just blocks off another square of this knight for where he can even go. He does have one spot, though. He can go right here. So I'm thinking, if I push up this pawn, maybe we can make some trades happen, and I can get this thing to go, and then I'll have my rook nice and free. So maybe there's something I can do with that and just abandon, the thought of getting my bishop here altogether. Maybe he would just take it outright. I'm not sure, and then maybe I just scare it away. But if I can get this rook on a nice open file against his king, maybe I can work with that too. I could just take this piece and then take this piece. Who knows? But he ignores it because it's a really sharp line and he doesn't want anything to do with it. So eventually I'll probably end up taking this pawn and capturing somewhere. But he's going to continue to try and chase away my horse at this point because he can't run away anywhere. I got distracted in playing something really sharp and not realizing I kind of blocked my own horse in, so he's kind of dead. So I'm going to have to do something to counteract that. If he's going to attack a piece, then I'm going to attack a piece of higher value. maybe if he's like so distracted and just ready to go, then I'll be able to be like, alright, cool, thanks. He moves his rook, however, gets that nice and out of the way. Horse is still under duress, but now that my bishop moved, it did free up some space for me to go after his bishop. So I was able to turn a piece that was dead in the water into a nice sharp line. He does take the trade, which is fine. I always feel like this position is just funny. Like, how do you get that? That's so weird. And then if he pushes up once, we have a freaking Oreo. But whatever. Oreos are good, man. Delicious cookies. So he decides he needs to finally move this guy over here, get a little bit of offense going, free this horse up, and get him into play. Granted, he doesn't have anywhere great that he can go right now. In fact, he still has technically nowhere he can really go, but he's at least trying. He's gotta get his pieces back into the field of play and be developed again. So I retreat the bishop, giving him one square where he can go. I'm still sitting on these possible trades. They're just building tension this whole time. Nothing with them is happening. He's finally committing to going after this knight that I've confirmed, just not confirmed. I've set to let him die. You know, zero intention of rescuing him the whole game. But now that it's further along in the game, space has opened up a little bit. There's no reason for me not to take one turn to save him, because now he still has to figure out a way to mess with something here, as opposed to just shoving his king in the corner. So maybe I can get something out of it. You know, maybe I can make some trades over with these guys and you know, open up some of this space and save the knight altogether, perhaps. I suppose I could bounce it back down here and then down over to here. So I sort of gain material back at this point, you know, recovery. Sensu Bean. He bounces his horse out to try and get it somewhere more useful, because that's his only playable square, but now he still has no options because this pawn is blocking him all off, but he's slowly getting somewhere. He's at least playing. I finally relieve some of this tension, seeing if there's a way I can help free this horse up, give myself a little bit more space, give myself something to do. I'm just tired of it sitting there, and I feel like it was better when I had a potential line directly to the king, and now that I no longer do, I'm not sure if I want him to have taken it like I would have before, or not at this point. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do this myself. I'm still up, so trades are fine. Trades are good. He goes straight for the bishop, and there's a couple ways you could do it. You could take it with the horse, or I'm just gonna go over here first, because I would rather, instead of this type of trade happening and getting blocked off, leaving these two pawns here, I would rather this pawn be gone. And because it comes with check, I don't have to worry about the fact that I just lost the bishop. I will take it back a couple turns later. So put him at a check. He goes right up in front. He can't go over there, and he can't go here. I guess he could have gone there, maybe, so I don't know which one of those you consider to be better squares. He went to block the line of the pawn, which is probably the correct spot. I take back the horse now. He takes a little pawn that I don't care about on the side, attacks my bishop for it as well, and at this point I am winning by so much. I remember taking a couple hours and just looking at this and thinking, do I even have to save this bishop and move him somewhere? Like, do I even have to? Because I'm winning by so much. I'm like, can I just move the horse and start promoting this pawn and get these pieces up here and get a queen out of the pawn and just win the game? Like, can I still win it faster than if I take one turn to save the bishop? And I determined that I could. I determined that I don't even care. You can just trade this piece, make my pawns ugly. I don't care. I just wanted to win the game and get this out of here. So take the trade. You know what? I don't even need the trade. You can have the bishop. I didn't care. I just wanted to win the game. So now I'm blocking off a couple of his squares as far as where he can go to, and I'm going to get him a check really quick. And as soon as he comes down to try and deal with it, I'm going to get a queen that's guarded by multiple pieces, and then I'm going to have two major pieces up in his face with absolutely nothing else defended, and if I really had to bring a third rook over, I could. Or push a pawn, I could. So that's what we're looking at, and he realizes he needs to save or guard some of these squares, otherwise it's all going to be bad news, but that doesn't really help. Maybe he's hoping I take it with the pawn, but I'm not. Thanks for the free bishop. It does free up this line, so now if I do promote, I won't get a free queen, it's just going to die. So now I need to know that if I get it up, and I get this thing promoted, it's going to have to be with expectation of just immediately recapturing and trading essentially the pawn for the rook. So maybe now I should probably work on taking this horse. Too late. Can't do it. So he moves the horse, that's fine. I proceed to just capture immediately, despite the fact that there's the attack going on here. Mine comes with check and his does not. He runs away, that's fine. I promote. He doesn't have a whole lot of choice. He has to take it, to which I now take it with the rook that was being attacked. He can follow up by taking the horse, which he will. My knight is now dead. But I am able to go after his, which, because of this pawn, and because of this pawn, it doesn't have any good squares to go to. This horse is literally dead. Every single square is covered by something. So he takes material that he can, king finishes it off, and at this point, double up the rooks, and eventually end the game. So that does it for this guy, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It went a little bit smoother. It pretty much was downhill once he gave me a second chance at fried liver on like turn 6 or something. That was pretty much it. It just put him too far behind. Then Quating Treens really gave him not a whole lot of opportunity to play offense to get back into the game, such that I could even suicide my pieces forward just to speed things up a little bit and force the knockout. So thank you all for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Take it easy. Catch you later. Peace.